I'm Jordan Hatfield. This is Faster Film Critic. Today on the show, we talk the Alto Knights with Kolter and Chase Fugel. The Alto Knights is a 2025 mobster movie based on the true story of two competing bosses. But when these guys show up to fight, they don't bring knives and guns, but walking sticks and hearing aids. The film's directed by Barry Levinson, stars Robert De Niro, Deborah Messing, and Catherine Narducci. Get in! We are going cinephilin'. What's up, guys? How you doing today?
Great.
Gentlemen, how you doing? Jordan, I took care of that thing for you.
Good. That is good to hear.
Yeah, it's your thing.
By the way, I got another job for you.
Hey, whoa, not on here. No, whoa. Give me a call a little bit later.
We'll talk after.
Yeah.
I love a good mobster movie.
Hell yeah, man. Who doesn't?
Love a good mobster movie. But before we talk Alto Knights, I just want to ask in general, what are your favorite mobster movies?
Pretty much any one but this one.
If you're going to list your top 5 gangster movies,
Goodfellas, number 1.
Oh, yeah, Goodfellas.
Hands down.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just stylistically, storytelling, acting. It's top shelf. Casino's great. Godfather 1 and 2, obviously they're amazing. Help me out here, fellas.
Ooh, there's a lot. Departed, Scarface, Irishman, Eastern Promises, Donnie Brasco, Heat, Untouchables, Miller's Crossing, Mean Streets.
Yeah, dude, you can throw Menace to Society in there. I mean, gangster films are kind of...
Even, I don't know if this would be a mobster movie, but it's definitely a crime movie that I love. The Sting.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the Sting's great.
The Sting is so good.
I wouldn't call that a mobster movie, but I do love The Sting.
Some mobster elements.
So my top 5 mobster movies in order would be Goodfellas, number 1.
Okay.
Godfather Part 2.
Okay.
Once Upon a Time in America.
Sure.
And Casino.
Yeah, okay.
Those are my top 5 gangster movies.
It's a good lineup.
I can't imagine it's too unique. These 5 films are absolutely amazing, and they fall in some variation in most people's top 5. But one thing that I find absolutely incredible is Robert De Niro is in Goodfellas, he is in Godfather Part 2, he is in Once Upon a Time in America, and he is in Casino. He is in 4 of the 5.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that Robert De Niro is the best actor of all time. When I say people, I mean people in Hollywood, directors and other actors. He is constantly referred to as the greatest actor of all time. And we don't need to debate that in this podcast. Well, maybe we do. Let's debate it. You disagree,
I don't
Kolter.
disagree.
What are you thinking?
Robert De Niro does a better job of anybody else than playing himself. And I don't mean that like that's who he is in real life. It's just he plays that type of character so often. It's hard to see him being anybody else. And there's only a few roles that depart from that. I mean, he's either playing a gangster or he's playing like a gangster adjacent kind of role in a comedic movie or something like that. There's always that sort of Italian mobster-ish edge to him in most of his roles, even if he's not playing an Italian mobster. So I haven't seen him deviate from that a whole hell of a lot with other stuff. So great actor, absolutely. The best actor, I don't know about that.
Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, Goodfellas, Godfather Part 2.
Yeah.
I mean, his acting in these movies is absolutely fantastic.
It is. Yeah.
His later filmography gets a little bit,
Very eloquently put.
Coming back to Alto Knights, though, I can see why Barry Levinson wanted Robert De Niro in this film so much.
Yeah, sure.
I think he needed him.
And I can see why he wanted Robert De Niro in this film twice, right?
Yeah.
Because Robert De Niro is such a gangster.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of the dual role that Robert De Niro played here?
I didn't like it. I thought it was a little silly. Vito looked kind of like a meat puppet half the time, and it was already hard enough to tell apart the rest of the old mobsters walking around with canes. I didn't want to see 2 Robert De Niros on the screen, making it more complicated.
Robert De Niro stars as the meat puppet. Yeah, man. The 2 characters aren't different enough that it's actually a stretch for De Niro, I don't think. So why? I guess why? It seemed gimmicky.
Yeah.
We've already established the fact that Robert De Niro is an incredible actor when it comes to Italian mobsters.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's one of the best, if not the best.
Yeah, agreed.
And yet, I feel like he is the weakness of this movie.
Oh, interesting. Okay. All right.
And it's not because of his acting.
Right.
It's in large part due to the fact that he's playing 2 roles. I think it is entirely unnecessary.
Yeah.
I have no idea why he is playing 2 roles here.
Yeah.
These 2 people aren't brothers.
Right.
They don't even look the same.
No.
And there's a pretty significant age difference. There's like a 6-year age difference between them.
Okay. I didn't know that.
I don't know why Barry Levinson decided to cast Robert De Niro in both these roles. Number one, and number two, Robert De Niro is 81 years old.
Yeah.
At the time that this meeting took place, because this film is based on a true story, there was really a meeting of mob bosses. It was called the Appalachian Meeting, and it took place in 1957. In 1957, Frank Castillo was 66, and Vito Genovese was only 59.
Okay.
So they were older, but they weren't geriatric.
Right,
they weren't 81. You know what I mean? And so as much as I love Robert De Niro, and as much respect as I have for Robert De Niro, he's too old for these parts, and he shouldn't be playing both parts. I mean, that's my opinion.
I don't know. I mean,
a lot of money, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
So this film, by the way, speaking of that, this film had an estimated budget of $45 million.
It's pretty modest.
And $44.5 million went to Robert De Niro.
22 for each character. Yeah, it's so odd, man. It's almost like he's doing an impression of Joe Pesci. Might as well just have Joe Pesci step into that role, if that's what you're going for.
Yeah.
We joke, but this is Goodfellas for grandpas, made by grandpas. I mean, all the filmmakers behind this movie.
Goodfellas for grandpas.
The film was written by Nicholas Pileggi.
Yeah.
And Nicholas Pileggi wrote Goodfellas and he wrote Casino.
Yes.
So headed into this film, you've got an incredible mobster writer.
Yeah.
And you've got arguably the greatest mobster actor.
Yeah.
And you're right. It just felt old and it felt tired.
Yes. Yeah, it felt like reheated spaghetti. Huh? No? But it felt more like, it felt like a 2-hour History Channel special that it kind of did.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it actually did. And then those shots where it was just De Niro talking to the camera, it felt like a History Channel special or something on Netflix.
Oh, man.
Way too much narration in this film.
Dude,
yeah.
And it's just weird.
They tried to do like the Goodfellas thing.
It doesn't work.
Way too much narration.
He kind of guides you through his life, but it's so terrible. It is so terrible.
Yeah.
And Goodfellas, Scorsese is so brilliant in his way of showing you and not telling you.
Dude, well put. Perfectly put, man.
The opening of Goodfellas, I think, would have worked so well even without the narration.
Yeah, agreed.
Ray Liotta's voice like blends into the scenery.
Yeah, it does.
But without the narration on this film, it just falls apart.
Yeah, Chase, that's a really good point. Let me ask you guys this question. Is there a more scary insult than to be called a jerk by an Italian?
Oh, I don't know. All right.
Depends on how old he is.
Hey, get over here, you Jake.
What did you guys think of the overall story of Alto Knights?
So uninteresting. I've never seen such an uninteresting mobster movie.
Kind of going back to Chase's point about narration, that does not work because it doesn't let the audience learn what's going on through character dialogue, character action, character motivation. The editing is strange. It's weird. They use these fade outs throughout the movie. That's like, they don't know how to end the scene. They don't know how to transition from one thing to the next. It's like, well, what? The timeline's pretty muddled. I spent some of the movie going, well, where the hell are we at? Is this before he got shot in the head? Is this after he got shot in the head? I don't know. They're throwing out names left and right. And I'm like, who's Richie? Who's this guy? Who's what?
They all look the same.
Yeah, they all look the same. The pacing is sluggish. The stakes seem kind of tame for a gangster movie. I can go on, but I'll hand it over to one of you guys.
I actually think the story could have been really interesting.
Okay.
I just think the writing and the direction of the film was really poor.
Yeah, all right.
This is a true event based off two very significant mob bosses.
Yeah.
And it was this meeting that the mob in America really lost their power. This is kind of where the mob in America started to fall apart and it never gained traction again. So I think there's a lot of interesting aspects of the story itself. Frank Castillo, he was a big figure.
Oh, yeah.
So do you think it could have made for a great film adaptation if done by like Scorsese?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Marlon Brando, who played Don Vito Corleone in The Godfather, based his entire voice off the real voice of the real Frank Costello.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This was a significant mobster. And I think if we got a director in here that could really take control of the picture and tell the story in an interesting way.
Yeah.
Could it have been as good as Goodfellas? No, I don't think so. Could it have been as good as The Godfather? No, I don't think so.
Sure.
I don't think it's that type of story.
Yeah.
But I do think it could have been a lot better than it is. I think there's a lot of meat on these bones.
Yeah.
And I think the way it was told was just flat. I just think it was flat.
I think one of the biggest missteps the movie makes is we never get to see this relationship between Frank and Vito set up. We see a couple old photos. There's like one scene of them as younger men chatting.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie could have spent 10 minutes, 20 minutes on that, showing us that there was some love between these two to kind of get us a little bit invested in their relationship, but it never really bothers to do that. I just thought it was a weird setup to begin with.
And there are these scenes where De Niro goes back and kind of reminisces while also telling the viewer about his past.
Yeah.
And it just feels like the ramblings of some old man. And you want to leave. You want to get out of his house, but he cannot stop telling you these stories about his past and everything that's happened to him. It's just so uninteresting.
Now I would see a picture of us going into the sausage store. They're the best sausages. Everybody loves these sausages. Let me tell you about these sausages.
No one gives a shit, bro. Like, get on with the fucking movie.
Yeah.
I did think the film was quite anticlimactic.
Yeah, it was.
The end, you've got this
my
big
gosh.
get together with all these mobsters, and this really happened.
Yeah.
And the cops show up, and you've got mobsters running through the forest and getting in their cars and bailing.
Not running. They were definitely not running. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
And yet, nothing really became of it. I mean, it skips ahead and tells you that Vito got sentenced to prison, and Frank even spent some time in prison, but it just felt very anticlimactic.
Yeah.
That said, guys, based on what I'm hearing you say, I think I liked it more than both of you. I don't think this was a great mobster movie. I think it doesn't even make the list of gangster movies worth even talking about. I thought it was anticlimactic. I thought it was forgettable.
Yeah.
But I didn't hate the film.
I'm saying, it wasn't horrible, but it just, when you consider the people involved in this movie from in front to behind the camera, it was a pretty big letdown. But, it wasn't awful. It just was. I think about a movie like this as you watch it and you go, oh man, there was so many missed opportunities here. I mean, I think most of the casting was pretty good. Did you guys watch Shogun at all?
No,
series
I
on
haven't.
FX.
Do I need to go watch it?
Yeah, it's great, man. But Cosmo Jarvis plays the one of the lead characters in that show, and I didn't even recognize him in this as the kind of bumbling thug who shot Frank Costello in the head early in the movie and botches the job. You got a pretty good cast here. Deborah Messing, I thought, did a really good job of embodying the kind of look and energy of a 50s actress, and had that kind of presentation that really worked. It was good to see her in the movie. I hadn't seen her in anything since Will and Grace, maybe, but so many missteps and missed opportunities.
Opportunities, indeed. I'm going to tell you, I went and saw this on opening night at 9 o'clock, which is kind of the prime time to see a movie, right? Opening night, 9 p.m. show. I was the only one in my theater.
I was too.
There wasn't a single other person in my theater.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I went right after school, 3, and I was the only one in the theater.
What's that say about 1, the marketing for this movie, and 2, the ominous possibility that theaters just aren't doing very well these days? They are not drawing in the people that they need to kind of stay relevant, man. It's actually kind of, especially in the dinky ass town that I live in, I worry about things like that. It's not, we don't have an AMC or a Regal here. It's a little locally owned theater that it needs business. It needs movies that people want to come out to see. And the sad fact of it is, this movie's going to be on streaming in 2 weeks. I think people probably know that. Yeah, and they're just waiting for it.
Sad indeed. Support your local theaters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anything else about Alto Knights?
Do you want to know another thing that kind of bugged me about this film?
Yeah.
It felt like they were trying so hard to do this Tarantino thing where the mobsters have the funny conversations, the casual conversations about a foot massage or something else, where they talk about Mormons and try to laugh about it. It just didn't work. It felt so much like it was trying to be Tarantino. I don't know if you guys got that at all, but that's how I felt.
The humor is far more competently executed in Goodfellas and Casino, and especially Sopranos, if you guys watched the Sopranos show.
Absolutely. Amazing.
Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, the only kind of, there are little moments of humor here and there, but they're just, this film feels like people at the twilight of their career just trying to wring the rag of something. Let's get the last few drops of this, and it just doesn't. It just kind of shits the pants.
So I want to know exactly how much shit is in the pants. Let's go ahead and rate this film 1 to 5. What do you guys think?
Oh my gosh, 1.5.
This movie just does not have the same craftsmanship as other gangster movies. I always enjoyed De Niro in just about anything, but this brings nothing new to the table. The dual role thing feels more like a gimmick. The design of the 50s era I thought was pretty cool. They even cheated and used a couple of real film shots from that era that I thought was kind of neat. But, it's nowhere near enough to save this movie. And for a gangster movie, this is far from the best work done by all involved. For me, it's a 2.5.
To say the film is far from the best of the genre, I mean, the best in the genre is so good that it can be far from the best and still a decent movie, and that's where I fall. I give the film a 3. There's a lot of things here to criticize, but overall, yes, it's a slower-paced film. Yes, Robert De Niro's too old. Yes, he shouldn't be playing two parts. Yes, the character development here is weak. But I do think there is enough in this film to hold my attention, and I thought there were aspects of the story that were really good. I am glad I saw it. It's not one I will most likely see again, but it is one that I'm glad that I saw. I wish it would have been better. It definitely did not meet my expectations, but I'm going to give it a 3. But we would love to know how you rate this film. Please tell us.
For my recommendation, I want to rewind back to 1973 when Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro teamed up for the first time to make the film Mean Streets. Robert De Niro gave an amazing performance, and Martin Scorsese laid the groundwork for not only his mobster movies, but every mobster movie that followed. If you haven't seen this film, I'd definitely check it out.
Thank you for listening to Faster Film Critic, and please join us next week when we talk Death of a Unicorn, the first film directed by Alex Sharfman. You can also follow us on Letterboxd, Cinetrack, and Instagram. Email us at fasterfilmcritic@gmail.com. Hit us up with any questions, comments, feedback, or review requests, and please share this episode with your movie-loving friends.